Alright, I'm going to install some different seats in my 95 F150. I've already done the install on the passenger side, just kind of walk through, see if I was going to run into issues, and I haven't, which is great. But basically, my original seats are in good physical shape. Well, they look good, but they're just not that comfortable. So, at any rate, I'm going to be installing some aftermarket brackets that I made. I'm making my own brackets, and we're going to go ahead and get these installed. And here's the factory seat, as you can see. And then there is the BMW seat installed. These came out of a 2003 BMW X5. And to be honest with you, they're great. I'm stoked. So anyway, come along for the ride. Watch me attempt to do this. Setting it up this way, so when you throw sparks, you grind whatever, it'll fling sparks onto your car and leave little bits of metal. It's not good. This is my makeshift welding table. Nothing fancy. Just a sheet of plywood, 1/2 inch, cut in half long ways, screwed together, and then put this piece of scrap sheet metal I got at the yard. And now I've got a giant welding table. And let me tell you, it's awesome. It's a little flex, but I'll move that in, we're good. Alright, see you in a second. Okay, so here's the basic setup. I've got power run from my garage running down. I got a 20 amp breaker for my 110 line. I got a 15 amp for this, which is going to have all my grinders and stuff. Then I got 220 run off a dryer vent for my plasma cutter. And this is the MIG machine I'm using. It's a knockoff of the Lincoln SP125. They got rid of it years ago, and Eastwood apparently found someone to make the same machine for cheaper. And then this is the CT520D. This will do TIG, stick, and plasma cutting. And you'll need air and an air compressor. And then you'll need CO2 argon mix for MIG stuff. And you'll need a drill press. You don't have to use a drill press. I just happen to have one, and I'm going to. And then here's the seat that's going in. It's, like I said, out of a 2003 BMW X3. I'm a big fan of the BMWs because they have good side bolstering and decent seat bolstering. Plus, they're like fully adjustable. The memory works and all that. So let me show you the basic idea of what we're doing here. Alright, there's the underpinnings. You've got a mounting hole here and here, there and there. And I measured those on the passenger seat, and I'll double check on these, but they are, they're like, I think 14 and a quarter on center between here. And then from here to here is 18, I believe. It really doesn't matter. The way I do this is pretty simple. So we'll walk over to the truck. And I'm going to have to take the seat out. I forgot to do that. So, it's easy. It's 4 bolts. Alright, so the complicated part comes on the Ford side of the seat. You basically got a mounting hole here, got a mounting hole here, you got a stud here and a stud here, and they are not identical side to side, so that makes this a little bit interesting. And the other complication is I'm going to turn you sideways. That's how the seat mounts. So it's got some standoffs here and standoffs here, and these are down a little bit, and it's really not too bad. Take some basic measurements. I used a chop saw last time to cut the lengths of my material, which is this stuff right here, which I believe is 120 rectangle tubing. Really not bad. So we're looking at here, so that's 8.5, so that's the same, 8.5 or so. The back is 10.25, which is just bizarre. And then front to back here is 11.5. And same here. So that's the only dimension that's really the same. So the plan is to do what I did last time, which is cut a length here, install it, cut a length here, fill out the metal part here to make this nice and squared off. Then, since I know that the distance going from here to here is the same regardless of where it mounts this direction, I'm going to do a bar this way and a bar this way, and then I'll build feet off of that. So there we go. So proof of concept here, I'm going to go from this tab, that edge right there. I don't know how well you can see that. There we go. There's a front metal lip right there. I'm going to run it from there to the other lip. As you see, it's 16.5. So I'm going to use a plasma cutter to cut two 16.5-inch lengths off of this. And I'll show you what's next. Enjoy some Gary Moore while I try to cut this. Apparently I can't use this because mine's not a high frequency machine, so fuck it. You know what helps? No idea how this is going to work. Change of plans. Was going to use the plasma cutter, did use the plasma cutter to cut the square tube, rectangle tube. Didn't work out as intended. It apparently doesn't going to shove all the way through, so take a look. Focus. Come on, Mom. Whatever, it's not clean. There we go. So I'm busting out the chop saw. Already got measured up and lined up, so here we go. Loud, way faster, and cleaner. So now I'm going to stick these two together, grind them down so that they're the same length, and then I'll drill holes and I'll get them mounted up to the seat, and then I'll measure the distance between the two and build my brackets. Alright, so a little work with a grinder, and it's close enough. Close enough for me. Other side's good. So now that these two are vice gripped up, I'm going to take the measurements of the on-center part and then drill holes right through here and through here, and I'm going to make sure that they go through both, and it'll work. So this is pretty straightforward. Don't trip over my ground cables. Basically just stick this up here. You got them pinched together so they're not going anywhere. Then you can just drill straight through both holes. Sorry, getting used to filming. Simple as that. Use some cutting oil and life will be fine.
Take that picture, Betches?
I'm not taking a picture, Rick. This is my buddy Rick. Say hi, Rick.
Hey, what's up, man?
Thank you. All right. So here we go. So we're just mounting up that stock that I've drilled to here. And now I'm going to measure from here to here. Yeah. Ta-da. Ta-da. Cut. Get that welded in. And then I'll do my support pieces, which should be similar. But I do them one at a time.
How does the battery fit up underneath the seat, Paul?
That's true. It's a very good point.
I want to know how to get this up underneath here so you have plenty of power to put those seats up at 150 miles an hour.
This is why we're friends. Literally. Because we just give each other shit 100% of the time.
That's true. Never been a more truer statement, my friend.
Alright, so now I'm going to cut those 16.5-inch sections I need. I'll just go ahead and do two. Get the other ones tack welded, and then do two more, and then find out where they go, and then finish weld them after that. So I lied. I just went ahead and cut all four of them. I need four of them all the same length anyway, and with the chop saw and the Diablo blade, metal cut-off blade, it was 5 minutes to cut all four. It's just, you can get real granular on this stuff if you want. It's gonna be welded, it's gonna be strong. It'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so now I got this squared up. I loosed these bolts up a little bit and there, and then what I did was I just kind of got it all squared away decently enough so that I can get some decent corners here. This is the front of the seat. I care about this more than anything. And I'm just going to do a tack here and then a tack here and maybe a tack on the inside after I'm done. Same thing. It'll be a little more, and a tack a little bit stronger. Then I'll get the second piece in, loosen these bolts up here, and get it to fit right, and then do the same thing. So there you go. Alright, so we got that tacked. Should be fine for just getting this thing together. And then I got this one mocked up. Square enough for me. So let's see if I can keep the film rolling here. And see if I can get a weld shot. No idea if this is going to work. Let's see what happens. Seemed to work. Helps you put your helmet down. Here we go. So give me a minute and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Alright, so on this seat, you notice that front bar, this is the bar that mounts to the body, or excuse me, to this seat rather. And then back behind is the bar that mounts to the feet, which I'll show you later that I'm going to do. But this has got about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch difference there. And then in the back, really hard to tell, but let me move the seat forward. Look at that, power seats. Amazeballs. Those two in the back. Let's see if I can get the shade out of there, or there. There we go. You see the two bars mounted right butted up against each other. That's what I'm going to wind up doing on that too. So, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, so I just got those finished welded. They're not beautiful, but they're definitely good enough. Done on 3 sides. I leave the inside corners. I don't think it's that critical. Not beautiful. Not bad, but you see good penetration. This is a little bird poopy, but a little grinder will fix that. Same thing here. Yeah. So now I'm just going to grind those down. Then I'm going to place the other ones in there and get those ready to go too. So, all right. So this is where the welding table comes in handy. You just hook your ground up to the table, and then you can flip this around, work it in whatever way you want. So I got this measured in. This is 7/8 inside there. That's what I had on the other side, so I figured it was good enough. And then this is going to run just like that. So I'm going to get those tack welded in place once I'm happy with that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just finish weld this whole piece. Double check that it fits on the seat, which I think it will. I don't think it'll be a problem. And then get to work to making the feet that mount to the truck floor. All right, now we're all welded up. I kind of went a little crazier on the other one compared to this one, and the other one's super strong. I'm really not too worried about it. So I'm going to just go ahead and grind that up a little bit, clean it up a little, and then I'll take you over to the truck and I'll show you how I create the feet. Alright, so got me some 1/4 inch plate here. Goes my hat. This is really fairly simple. All I'm going to do is kind of mimic the outline here, make it nice and wide. Same thing here. You can see the basic idea, and here and here. These will be just more square. I may get them to go this way a little bit longer, but it's pretty simple. You just get there and eyeball, and you can actually get all 4 cut out of this one plate that's a 6x6. So I'll show you when I'm getting ready to do that. Alright, so I marked them out. This is literally just 2 minutes later. I'm going to use these 4. This one's a little big, but it's not the end of the world. And I just need to round that corner. And then I kind of want that rounded off. So basically my plan is to cut this the way it is and then round all the corners so that it just doesn't dig into the carpet. And then these stars are just showing that those are the top. I'll have to find out where I'm going to drill the holes. I already put the drill press away because I'm an idiot. And I thought for sure I didn't need to. Oh well. Alright, got those cut out. Got new consumables for my plasma cutter, and I'm a little disappointed in how they're performing. Usually it's a little cleaner cut than this stuff, but I'm also kind of new at it, so it could be me. But nothing a little grinding can't fix. So I'll get those ground out, and then I'll take them over to the truck, and I'll show you. Alright, now that the ice cream truck left, yeah, I look like garbage, got long hair, all that stuff, doesn't matter. Anyway, little time with a grinder. This guy will go right there, and generally just in the middle is fine, so where I got started is okay. Same thing here. That guy will go right there. I have no idea what this hole is. The other side had it too. This guy will go right here, And again, in the middle is fine. And same thing with this guy. I could round it out. Maybe is that one supposed to go there? Nah, it'll be fine. So there you go. I'm going to bust out the drill some holes, put that in there, and then I will show you what I do next. Alright, I'm going to have to quit for today because I've got an event I'm going to tonight. It's not a social gathering. Don't worry about it. But this is what I've got so far. So there's my plates cut out. They're cleaned up a bit. And they're bolted in. Shadow's real strong there. Here we go. So, as you see, you know what? I'll just go and grab it. It's not too bad from here. I'm going to have to quit for today, though, like I said. So front top, well, front's this way. Ta-da. So, basically, I got a little hump here, right up here, which is something different than I had on the other side. So that makes that this is going to be a little bit of a custom job. Who am I kidding? The whole thing is. But that's effectively what it's going to look like mounted in. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to weld a standoff here. It goes from there to the plate, and there down to the plate. Same thing back here. And then on the front, same thing. I'll just slide one in that way and do the same thing here, slide one in that way. And you'll be surprised how tough this thing is. It pretty much levels out on its own. You really don't have to worry about it too much. And as you can see, compared to the other seat, it's in pretty good shape. So that's where I'm at so far. I'll have to pick up on this tomorrow. I'm gonna have to move my truck a little bit, which means I'll have to put the other seat back in. Yeah, so join me tomorrow. It's all going to be one video, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I gotta quit for now. Welcome back to the next day. A little bit of dew, a little bit of rust. Ain't gonna hurt anybody. I'm sure this got soaked. Yeah, it did. It's okay. Anyway, all right, let me get set up. Be back in a minute. Okay, so set up. Kind of got everything I need all ready to go. I gotta tell you, wiring the garage, having it all set up so that I can just within 15 minutes get ready, it's fantastic. Okay, so one of the weird parts about this BMW seat, I think you can kind of see it here. You see how right here the left rail is sticking out that way? That means the center line of the seat is shifted off just a little bit. So that means I got to carry that whole thing over to the truck and where I mount this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the width of the seat where you actually sit in it, find the middle line of that. Sorry, that was terrible filming. And then I will find out where I'm going to weld these guys right here. So it's pretty simple. You just got to offset the thing just a little bit. And when I'm done with the numbers, I will get that back to you. All right, so in case you can't tell, I don't exactly do things based on precision. The idea is to get it about right. So let me show you what about right looks like. So it's really kind of easy to see here how the seat's offset a little bit. This side over here, it hangs out about an inch and a half. And the total width there is something like It's hard to film and do this. Respect. Yeah, about 20 inches, 19 or so. But it's offset. The actual width of the seat is like 18 inches. Doesn't look like it, but down here it's, yeah, if you go from back to back, it's like 17 and a half inches or so. So the way I figure it is, I need to be, the center line of the actual seat is 8.5 or so from where it actually mounts. So you go over to the truck and you say to yourself, okay, I gotta get the center line of the seat lined up with the middle of the steering wheel here. I know for a fact that the Ford seats are split right down the middle in terms of mounting. So that means these mounting points are exactly centered. Right there and right there. So I want to get into the middle part here. So what I did is from the the right side of the seat, this side, which this mounting hole lines up basically with that side of the seat, you want to mark 8.5 inches from there. That's the center of that seat where you're going to mount it. Do the same thing here. And you just basically eyeball the sucker. It's about right. Yeah, about right. You can tell this thing's going to hang over just a little bit. You just get it kind of perpendicular as much as you can and you send it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some mounts for back here to go down there. Then I'll work on this one next, and then this, and then that, and then that, and Bob's your uncle. So here we go. All right, so the first piece I'm going to do for that back right is this guy here. And that's 3 inches by like 1.25. Because that's just what I kind of eyeballed over here. There we go. This is like 1.5 inches down, which will put the metal just above the middle there. And then it'll run almost all the way across, no problem. So that'll be the first one. And in my experience, you don't even need to tie it over here. You could if you wanted to go crazy, but I'm using some pretty heavy duty metal here. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is cut that out and get that in there. There we go. And I'll double check my measurements, but that first piece is what I'm going to need to anchor here. And what you do is you tack it up and then bring it over, make sure it fits. Loosen this up, make sure it fits. And if you got to readjust, you readjust. So you go one piece at a time. You're doing a lot of back and forth and trying to get stuff lined up correctly. You know, and there's nothing wrong with breaking something apart, grinding the weld, and starting over. It's just the process. Really not in love with the new consumables for this thing. Kind of disappointed. I don't know what the deal is. We'll have to figure it out. Okay, with some difficulty, I got the plasma cutter cutting right now. I had to put back in my consumables that were in there, the two tips. I don't know what they're called. At any rate, had to do a lot of grinding on this guy. It kind of pissed me off, but it is what it is. So this is basically the way this is going to go. So all I do is I mark this right there, and then just draw a line where I want it to be, and you can kind of see there's an outline of where it'll go. Yes, I got Sharpie cap in my mouth. My bad. So, there you go. Okay, so I went in there after I tacked this piece on. This was mounted to the truck, and I basically, let's go on this side, see if we can get a better light situation. I basically marked out where I kind of want to tack it up, and you can kind of see in there the dark line. That's less helpful. There we go. You can kind of see the line I'm putting, so I'll just lift this up, tack it, take it over the truck, see if I like how it fits, see if it's lining up properly, and then I will Zeus it in completely, and then that'll be the basis for everything else. So once this part's in, then I can just start building like normal, and if I have to, I'll widen these holes, but I only had to do that on one on the truck, and it was my mistake. I know what happened. So, all right, we're tacked up. This is where we're at. Obviously, this will rotate a little still. It's probably going to be about where it's at. And there we go, we're lined up in the center of the hole. So I'll come over and do the same thing here, but I'm going to finish welding this because I want this to be nice and solid. And then what I'll do is I'll tighten this bolt down when I'm done, and then come over and get my measurements, and then I'm going to lift this side up just a touch. You can see that movement. It'll just level it out just a little bit. Just a touch. It's pretty easy to do. So I'm running out of shielding gas, but I'm getting good penetration. But I'm getting a little splatter. I may be set a little too hot. I'm not sure. It's ugly, but I'm running out of shielding glass, and I screwed up my welding mask. Yeah, uglier than sin, but trust me, this is going to be plenty strong. So I'm going to let that cool before I put it back in the truck, and you don't want any fires, so yeah. Good after. Okay, back one is in. Yes, I used two pieces. I just had them already made, so I really wasn't concerned about it. So what I'll do is I'll just tighten these down. I just bought one of these weebly wobbly head socket things, and man, they're frustrating sometimes, but they are amazeballs other times. Blows me away sometimes. But sometimes a lot. There we go. Cinched. And yes, I'm using water to quench it. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but again, this is kind of overbuilt, so I'm not too worried about it. So there we go. So now we're up, and you can see this is, I mean, that is barely moving with me lifting up, and I'm a pretty strong feller. So now I'm going to design something to go down here. What's funny is I don't even need this anymore, because of the way I've got it lined up. I can mount it to the front from this part and go straight down, and this part goes straight down. Initially, I managed to get these plates farther this way, so on the other seat I went from this side straight down, but it really doesn't matter. It'll all go just the same. So there we go, on to the next step. Alright, I'm pretty proud of this weld here. Oh, thank you. Pretty proud of this weld. This is the first one that I'm really, really happy with. I feel like it did pretty good. Other side's not too bad. Oh, thing to notice, I had to bevel the edge right here because that's where the mating surface is going to be on the plate. You'll see it in a second. It's pretty obvious, actually. Let me come over and show you. You can see how that's the angle that the thing's at, so that piece is going to sit right about here. And actually I lied, it's on this one. Anyway, that's the one. So yeah, marching on. All right, here's a terrible tack weld underneath there, but you see the hole lines up fine. All the other holes are in there, and I gotta go and weld the back part in there and get that done. So, all right, we're getting close. So I got 3 of them mounted up. You see, you can. Let's check this out. That corner is not even on. But watch me pull up on this. This sucker's not moving. I can barely push down. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one set up. I think I may go from here to here, because I'm going to have to get a weird back bevel going that's kind of like this direction. Probably be smarter to go that way. So yeah, that's where I'm headed. Oh, by the way, crazy wild hair. So I've been having a problem with my PrimeWeld CT 520D that started when I started using aftermarket consumables. It's not a real expensive machine, but I've been having a little problem with them. So I don't know what the issue is. I called PrimeWeld about an hour ago, and they said, hey, we're going to send you out a brand new torch and a whole bunch of consumables. My guess is it's the quality of that stuff. So just buy the consumables for me. Okay, no problem. Anyway, they're sending that stuff out for free. That's pretty incredible customer service, if you ask me. So anyway, all right, moving on. Alrighty, I am really happy with that weld. Holy crap. I'm an amateur welder. Very, very amateur welder. But this stuff's going to be plenty strong, as you could tell in that other clip. I added an extra one up here just for giggles. But that's looking good. Let this cool down, mark out where it goes on the last plate, get that tacked in, double check again, and set it on fire. This doesn't look nearly as good. There was a big gap I had to fill. But, you know, coming along. Okay, all the welding is done. I'm getting better at welding. It's not an easy thing to do, to be honest. I like that one too. Did all right. That one sucks, but that one's pretty. A lot of it's just practice on this thing, but at any rate, this thing's built now, so I'm going to put it back in, make sure I have all the bolt holes lined up in case I got to hog out one of these or something like that, but it looks like it's going to be fine. Then I'm going to hit this with flap disc, clean up some of the welds, let it cool off, then paint it. And then once it's drying, I will go do the electrical part of the seat, which you can see. It's pretty simple, and I got a couple tools that are really useful. So, not endorsed by Clean Strip Odorless Mineral Spirits. Mineral whatever. Anyway, so I wiped this thing down. I'm pretty sure I got this tip from Nate at Dirt Lifestyle, who used to be a bleeping Jeep guy. But I'm just going to get this wiped down, set it in the sun to dry out completely, throw it on the tailgate with a piece of cardboard, and just go to town painting it. And then I'll get going on the electrical, okay? I'll show you what to do. Bye. Okay, so wiring. This is the BMW seat harness. Brown is ground on BMWs. Don't ask me why, they just are. Indication is how fat this guy is. And then red with the yellow stripe is hot for the whole seat. This is the seat harness off of the truck. The way I figure it is I can buy these at the junkyard really easy and just splice a new set in on these seats if I'm going to get rid of them, and I might. We'll see. So, simple as this. All you got to do is just get in here, strip this guy out. Thank you very much. Get off of there. And I've already done these up. And one of the tools you definitely ought to get, this is just a Amazon Queebach, whatever. It's a ratcheting doohickey. So you can get the thing kind of set in place and it will stay. And then before you do your final crimp, you just go bam. And there is a way to release it with this little guy here, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. I've gotten stuck once or twice, but when you buy that, also buy some of these, which these are just butt connectors, except the cool part is that you heat shrink them, and they like put like a goo inside them that makes them, it's like glues. It glues them. It's a kind of nice setup. So, there goes Oceanside Public Works. I don't think that this is the right size. Maybe? Well, that does work. I used the yellow ones on the other one. Let's see if this will fit in here. Yeah, that'll work. So we'll use these. So, black and white is the hot on the Ford truck, and this black is just ground. So what's interesting is this thing's got a red, blue, and yellow. I'm going to go ahead and use the blue one just for giggles. When you see on this thing, hopefully you can see it. Where is it? Come on. There you go. See that little divot there? Little divot? That tells you where it wants to be broken. So when you set this thing in this machine, you just get it locked and loaded like that with that little divot face straight up. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the hot side first. Get this in here. Should fit in pretty simple. Give her a little crush. And I'm going to have to release this because that was the wrong size. But all I did is hit that little tit thingy, and that opened it up. Yeah, that's solid enough for sure. So I'm going to switch to the yellow one and see how that goes. On this one. Yeah, sometimes just bend these out of the way a little bit. Get it in the whole story of every guy's life, right? Okay. There we go. You can hear it ratchet, and it's a nice positive click. I'm going to follow through on this one and do the same thing. Yeah, it gives it a little extra crimp. So that's that side done. And on this side, I'm going to go ahead and get the ground over to the black. Jam that guy in there. Well, this is why they make it ratcheting, so that you can get it kind of started first. Because that's kind of the whole thing when you're doing this by yourself. Kind of a federal case in some ways. Who knew that wiring would take up so much time? Actually, it doesn't take up that much time. Get it in there. Give her the beans. Give her a tug. We're good. So same over here. Ta-da. So the other thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab my heat gun, which I gotta find it. Not my 10mm socket, but it's a heat gun. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'll show you how when you heat these up, these seal up, and you can even see some schmoo that comes out. It's kind of nice. And then I'm going to wrap this up nice. I'm going to heat this up so that the little stray hairs, whatever you want to call them, go away. But yeah, I'll be right back. All right. Got the heat gun on. Then got wonderful hot heat right on my hand. There it goes. Nothing more satisfying than that. I agree with Nate. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because the plastic will heat up first, I'm just going to go ahead and get that kind of scrunched up. Who cares? Who cares? All right. I'm going to let it cool off for just a second. By the way, heat gun was in the tool drawer. Not that far away from all my other supplies. Organization, man. Is that like not the bane of our existence when we do these projects? I need to get a new tool drawer. That's what I need. So on Amazon, they make this Tessa automotive wrap tape. This stuff's pretty killer. It's really good for harnesses. I had a 2004 Audi A4 that every single one of the coil packs, the wires got super brittle and cracked and started arcing, causing misfires. Yeah, that's what happens when Volkswagen puts a really freaking hot motor in a tight compartment. But anyway, so I just tend to go through here and just wrap it up. And I'm sure there's other seat functions on here. Like I think these seats have heat. And I may look into that at some point, and that was probably going to be these other two big sets of wires, if I was to guess. But me getting them wrapped up and out of the way just makes the install just slightly nicer. It's not God's gift to anything here, but you know, good enough for who it's for. So this is a cloth tape, but it's very sticky, so it holds real tight. I'll just wrap it up like that. Come back on it a little bit. Enjoy the tear. Knock the camera around. Hopefully you don't vomit. So this is more of that tape, but this is factory BMW stuff. So it's the same idea. And there you go. All right, so the metal thing is getting ready to paint. This is ready to plug in and it'll work right off the hop. So all I gotta do is just paint this thing and then put my tools away. I'm gonna go, since I'm doing a bumper install, I'm gonna go and get another tank of CO2 argon mix. I think it's 25-75 or the other way around, whatever it is. 75 argon, I know that much. And got to run a couple errands today, but I'll report once the seat's installed, all right? And the final product. Yeah, it's annoying that this sticks out so far, but that sticks out a long way. I got a lot of room in this thing now. And it's really, I wouldn't say any higher than stock. But there you are. With a little bit of effort, some tools, you can do anything. I would advise overbuilding with materials to make up for the lack of welding skills that you have. That's what I did, and it worked. I mean, it's been working so far. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little guy. Oh, by the way, I did clean the carpet underneath a little bit before I put the whole thing on. So yeah, is what it is. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good day. Talk to you later.